Yes, it is indeed that time again. Let me explain to you what's going on right now. Okay, so my studio, the Golden Blue Dude studio, is located in my bedroom. Okay, we have a massive bedroom. I'm on the studio side, and then on the other side you have a lounge area, and then the sleeping area. So studio back here, then the lounge area, then the sleeping area. Right. Well, connected right next to the bedroom is a bathroom. Okay, bathroom. And whenever my wife takes a shower, she likes to blast music. So if you hear music, that's why. I'm right next to the bathroom, and she blasts the music. Whenever I say blast, I mean blasts it. Now, the microphone isn't supposed to pick up anything more than like 3 feet away, but it's so loud it wouldn't surprise me if y'all would know the words to some of these songs. Right now, it's Free Falling. That's actually a pretty good song. Anyways, on to today's video. First of all, if you're not subscribed to Golden Blue Dude, what are you waiting on? Well, if you're not a college football fan, then you don't need to subscribe. You would hate this channel. If you're not a college football fan, you're going to hate this channel. But if you are a college football fan, then I encourage you to subscribe. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers, as you can see by the ticker on the bottom of the screen. But we have a goal to get there by the kickoff of the Backyard Brawl, which is September 1st. Now, we had the goal set for the end of the year, but, man, we've had a great month. We're already past 9,400 subscribers. 9,400. So we hit 9,000, I believe it was on Saturday, and now we're almost halfway to that 10,000 subscriber mark from 9,000 to 10,000 in like 4 days. That's amazing, and that's because of you guys, and I appreciate that. So shout out to you guys for hitting the subscribe button. Quick reminder before we get going, make sure to hit the like button. That is very, very important. Hitting the like button, that's not a pat on my shoulder. Nothing like that. No.
Algorithm.
It helps the video hit the YouTube algorithm. The video gets suggested more, and boom, the video grows. What's going on, Tony?
Yeah. No, hey, do you think you can...
How do you like my background music?
It's good. Hey, do you think you can make it to 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year?
You almost made me do a spit take right there. My gosh, that would be amazing.
I almost made you choke.
Yeah, about choked right there. 20,000. I mean, that's a crazy goal, but I think that one's actually doable. I mean, we'd have to keep it rolling really good, but 20,000 by the end of the year?
Yeah.
Not bad. Not bad.
Yeah, no, and... I watched your video earlier about the Big Ten trying to get like Utah, Stanford, and Stanford, Washington.
Oregon, Washington.
Yeah. Do you think they might? Do you think they might convince Miami and Florida State to join the Big Ten instead of the SEC?
That depends on if Fox and ESPN work together to help break the grant of rights. If they can convince 8 teams to vote to break it, then yes, I would see that happening. But that would be step number 1 as far as getting teams out of the ACC. Anybody that thinks that they're hearing an echo, it's actually not an echo. It's background music. My studio is in my bedroom, and it's connected to the bathroom. And whenever my wife takes a shower, she likes to blast the music. So if you're hearing something that's kind of, I don't know, echoey, that's what it is.
So let's say that happens. Like, does the ACC end up becoming a what is it called? A Group of 5 conference then? Like, if
that's absolutely possible. That is very, very possible because I don't think Boston College, Wake Forest, maybe Duke, maybe depending on if Georgia Tech gets picked up, some teams are not going to vote to break those granted rights because they want the ACC to stay intact. So if you have, the smaller brands, but still Power 5 brands stay in there, and then maybe, grab some teams out of the AAC or, whatever, I don't see the ACC survive. If the ACC gets picked apart, I do not see them surviving as a Power 5 conference. Quick note to the comment section. If you have a question for me that you want me to answer, or you just have a simple comment that you want me to read and recognize and address, or a troll, you want to make fun of me, best way to do that is the super chat button. That is that little $ down on the bottom right-hand corner of the chat. The bigger the super chat, the more words you can put into that. And every super chat, I make sure to put on the screen for everybody to see. I read it. If it's a question, I answer it to the best of my abilities. And actually, my guests help me answer the questions sometimes. Same with comments, same with trolling, all that stuff. Go through super chat, and it goes on the screen.
Hey, Joey, what's up?
Hey, what's going on, Tony?
Yeah.
How's everybody doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Honestly, like we were saying before, I kind of hope for me, the way I said this on other channels, Golden Blue Dude, the way that Miami's building the line of scrimmage, in my honest opinion, they fit more toward the Big Ten style of play than the SEC. You agree? Like
yes, I would agree with that. And I want to get to this super chat real quick. Thank you to Conqueror 2001 for your $5 donation. Says, hey, Golden Blue Dude. And I like this because it goes into what I was about to talk about. Hey, Golden Blue Dude, do you believe the Big Ten is considering Arizona State? The crazy thing is, whenever I made that video earlier about what Kevin Warren said in one of his comments whenever he was talking on Big Ten Media Days, he mentioned that they were going to have a school in the Four Corners, and it was going to represent the Mountain Time Zone. And today I said it's probably Utah, could be Arizona. Conquer thinks maybe Arizona State. I mean, that's possible. I didn't think about that. Arizona State is in the state of Arizona, but who else is a four-corner state? Colorado. I did not think about that before. That could be one of the reasons why Colorado is playing, hey, we don't like the Big 12. That's where we came from. We'd have to swallow our pride, blah, blah, blah. Because I don't think Colorado would turn down the Big 12 if they didn't have a destination in the Big 10. That's just unless they're just that stupid and that arrogant to where they can't swallow their pride and go back to where they came.
I have a question turned them down, so to speak, right? They've not turned them down officially yet, right?
How about bringing the Holy War to the Big Ten with BYU and Utah?
You mean
I like that. And as far as what Joey said, I don't know if they've actually turned down the Big 12 or not. All I know is I don't know who it was. It was some type of representative from Colorado came out and said, we don't like the Big 12. It doesn't fit our style, blah, blah, blah. So it just sounded like that they were against the Big 12. But I don't know for a fact if they've turned them down or not.
I think that, the Big Ten, what would fit them best would be, of course, Oregon and Washington, and then Cal and Stanford. I think that's what fits their best. I think that's what would make more sense just because of the academic level. But if you take out Cal, I would see Utah like you did over top of Colorado. Possible, but I don't see Colorado in the Big Ten myself. But it could happen. Who knows?
Yeah, that was my biggest argument. You take out Cal, and the biggest replacement would be Utah. Their brand is at an all-time high right now. They had great exposure in the Rose Bowl playing Ohio State. That's the brand you want to play. And they didn't get smoked by Ohio State. That was a great game. Connor Dance Sport, thank you for the $1.99 donation, says, I'm TCU. What do you feel they will be like with Dykes? Well, I think in the first year, TCU is going to just be trying to figure out who they are because they were Gary Patterson for so long. He was at TCU for, I'm thinking, at least 20 years or right around 20 years. So they're going to have to be finding their identity in this year. But I think in the future, TCU will be a solid, 4 or 5 in the Big 12. I don't think they're going to get back to the heights that they were under Gary Patterson as far as contending for a conference championship, but they'll be a solid team. Now, the question is, since Gary Patterson did have a lot of success at TCU, will Sonny Dykes do enough to meet those expectations? Is going 8-4 and 7-5, having a down year every once in a while, going to be good enough for TCU? I would say no. So personally, I don't think Dykes is going to last very long at TCU. I just don't think he fits well.
Also, one thing I'll point out too about your video today, you said that, and it was a great video. You had mentioned about Arizona State, the Big 12, Colorado holding back, not wanting to come. There may be another point to that too. Is the Big 10 maybe taking Oregon and Washington, and we keep saying Stanford, but maybe Stanford is going to stay independent with Notre Dame, and so they're going to go after one of the four corners with Cal.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's why I'm very torn on that because here's the thing, all right? Whoever is going to the Big Ten, they know. We don't know. I promise you the conversations have been had behind closed doors. I'm pretty sure Oregon and Washington, they're 1 and 2 for sure. I'm fairly confident that Stanford's going to the Big Ten. That would be my next level. And then it's that last spot. Who's in that last spot? They know who they are. Make no mistake about that.
Think about
Whoever has that last spot, they know who they are. So it's us, the YouTuber, the sports fan, that's trying to speculate and figure out who it is. So we're looking at Kevin Warren and see what he says. Well, the hint that he gave wasn't a hint at all. It included all the states involved when you think about it. The four corners, I mean, that could be Arizona, Colorado, or Utah. So that wasn't much of a hint at all. Saying it's in the Mountain Time Zone, same thing, not much of a hint. So we're trying to figure it out. They already know who they are. And whenever the announcement comes, the team that's in that fourth spot will know this whole time. Vanity Rose, thank you for the $5 donation, says ACC and Pac-12 leftovers merger. I would agree with that, actually. I think that's a big possibility. Sure, no Blue Bloods. Can you call it the Kincoke Conference? I see what you did there. That's pretty good. Maybe there is, if both those conferences get picked apart, maybe there's enough Power 5 members in there. I mean, they're going to have to get some group of 5, but could they keep Power 5 status if they actually merge?
No, I don't think if they merge, I don't think Duke is not enough of a blue blood in football. They might carry them in basketball, but not in football.
That's my sentiment. You could say the same thing about Wake Forest. Boston College is not good at anything really. This comes down to football, and I don't think that the Pac-12 and the ACC, as far as the leftovers go. So let's assume these are the leftovers, okay? Oregon State, Washington State, we'll say Cal, and no offense, Sun Devil fans, but just for this exercise, we'll say Arizona State out of the Pac-12, right? Then for the ACC, you'd have probably a Boston College, maybe a Syracuse, maybe a Duke, and maybe a Wake Forest. I mean, yeah, they're Power 5 teams right now, but they're low on the totem pole, and especially in football. Let me get to this super chat real quick. Thank you, Jeffrey Foster. We appreciate the $19.99 donation. Says, I predict, prediction alert. I predict West Virginia to go 11-1. Oh, whoa. And three-way tie in the Big 12. West Virginia, it's Baylor. Baylor beat Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State beats, I'm guessing he meant beats West Virginia. If that happens, who goes to the Big 12 championship? I don't know what the tiebreakers go if everybody beats everybody and they all end up with one loss. Highest rank. There you go. So the two highest ranked would get in. I knew that. I couldn't think of it off the top of my head. But 11-1, I knew you knew it. I'm not sure about that. I would go 9-3, and then if things really fall our way, a 10-win season. But I like the confidence. And to be honest with you, we do have the talent to potentially go 11-1. It's just I don't trust Neil Brown that much yet. I trust him enough to take us to 9-3 with the talent we have. Maybe a 10-win season. I see you. I did that on purpose, Tim. You know that, right? Nobody wants to see your ugly mug. Joe, you're supposed. That was an awkward silence for you to back me up, Joey. You let me down. What's going on with that? But anyways, I don't trust Neil Brown to get us to 11-1. We have the talent to go at 11-1, but I don't know. I don't think we're quite there yet, and the schedule doesn't set up for an 11-1. If we had the schedule that we had last year and the talent that we have this year, I could see it more that way, but not with what we have now.
Has there ever been? This is
there he is.
Yeah, this is not a question. This isn't. I'm not sure if this is a question you guys can ask. Has there ever been a season in college football where three teams ended up with the same record and ended up being tied for one spot?
I'm sure it's happened before, and even before the Big 12 had a championship game, they had TCU and Baylor, and they declared them co-champions, and both of them were left out of the playoffs, and that's when the Big 12 decided to have a conference championship. But as far as
I believe
other,
it happened
other
one time.
instances, I'm sure there it happens all the time. To be honest with you, I just can't come up with
Remember?
the scenarios right off the top of my head. But most of the
If
time, they're
I'm
going
not
to play each
mistaken,
other in the conference championship, anyways, right?
No,
if
that's
I'm
what
not
I'm
mistaken,
saying.
it happened one time.
No, that's what I'm asking. How about two independent? What happened with the two? If it's two independent teams that end up with the same record, but they never face each other and stuff like that, but they end up being tied. Like let's say Miami and Notre Dame are independent. Hypothetically,
Okay.
who ends up going to who ends up getting into the playoff if a conference
Highest rank.
championship has a better?
And that would go to rankings. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
it's
bottom
highest
line.
rank.
Whenever it's close like that, they would go to rankings. Whether you would
And if the
agree
tie-
with it, look at their schedule. Maybe you don't agree with it, whatever. But that would be out of our hands. It would be whoever the highest ranked team is. That's who would make it.
Yeah, no, because I thought. No, that's why I'm asking if they end up tied for the same record. Like, they've been tied with. That's why I'm asking if they end up having the same record, but they're tied at the end of the season with the same amount of points and stuff like that in the rankings. Like, how does that
They
work
would just that would be up to the AP poll and the playoff poll. They would have to determine that. I don't know the criteria for determining that, but they would have to determine that. And whoever had the highest ranking
Maybe
at the end of the season, that's who would get it. I don't know how the tiebreakers go into that, actually.
Okay.
What's going on, Tim?
They go
Oh, no, not much.
a lot of things.
So, did you watch my video that I put out earlier?
No, I was at the doctor earlier, getting my arm checked out.
The reason I asked that is, so I had a lot of people mentioning what Kevin Warren said in his Big Ten Media Day, I guess, press conference is what you could call it, saying that they're going to have, not in so many words, saying that the Big Ten is going to have a team in one of the four corners and a mountain time zone will be represented. And that's really not giving us much of a hint because, like I said earlier, the four corners is still Utah, Colorado, and Arizona State, right? Now, whoever's going to get that spot, they already know right now. I mean, we might be surprised whenever it comes out. Oh, man, I didn't see it was Colorado. Oh, man, Arizona State, really? Oh, Arizona, I thought they were going to Big 12. We might be surprised, but whoever it is, they already know because these conversations happen, behind closed doors. So going by the Big Ten, most likely getting Oregon, Washington, and probably Stanford. Who do you think gets that fourth spot?
Yeah, that's a good question. ASU's right outside of Phoenix, right? My geography sucks. I mean, that's a pretty good market. You know, I think the best program by far, as we all know, is Utah. I mean, by far.
Right.
That's Salt Lake City.
Video on, yeah.
Arizona, I mean, great basketball program, but that's got to go back to Larry Smith, 30, 40 years ago in order to have a decent football team. Teddy Bruschi and all the Desert Swarm, all those guys. But that was a long time ago. So if you ask me what I think is probably the best money move, I think it's probably ASU. Which one I would think is the best program? I would say Utah. Which one would I prefer? I'd say Utah.
Yeah, and the one kink that's in all this is, I was convinced, and I'm still convinced that Colorado and Arizona have put their application in the Big 12, but maybe the Big Ten approached Colorado, and that's why their representatives started saying, we looked into the Big 12. That doesn't really fit who we are. Doesn't fit our style, blah, blah, blah. So does that hint that maybe Colorado has that last spot?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why would you turn down the Big 12 if you didn't have a landing spot in the Big 10 is my question.
Yeah, well, then that would be crazy not to do that. Yeah, I don't. I think maybe you're onto something. The teams that are not offering, like that's who you said, Arizona and who? Colorado?
Yeah.
Right. So maybe they know something. And so maybe by, process of elimination, that tells you where the other schools may or may not be going. I mean, how many teams could you add, though? I could see, really a great combination might be, and I know Cal's want to hear this, but I would love to see Oregon, Washington, Utah, and Arizona State. Talk about having the entire West Coast just blanketed if you're the Big Ten. mean, think about that. And I have to say, it's about Arizona. The recruiting in Arizona, at least especially at USC, the guys we're getting out of Arizona have been top shelf. Like right now, we're in the running for a tight end. That's a 5-star tight end out of Arizona. But we've got plenty of good players out of Arizona over the years. And like Keaton Slovis, I think, was from Arizona.
Our guy, Nico Markle, our guy out of Arizona.
Yeah. I just don't see Big Ten stooping and going and getting Arizona. I just don't see it.
Yeah, academically, it is not a fit, but they are AAU, correct? They are. So I mean,
that's what I'm saying. We can make arguments for every single one of those teams, and then Kevin Warren's comments didn't help anything because he basically blanketed all the states in the four corners in the Mountain Time Zone. It's like, that wasn't a hint at all. I thought it was at first, but then I got to I'm like, wait a minute, Arizona, they're all four corner states, so that didn't really give us much at all. And that's not me saying that Colorado has actually turned down the Big 12. Maybe they haven't. I'm just saying that the comments made by the Colorado representative wasn't very flattering of the Big 12. So
this could be weird.
Who really knows? I mean, it's crazy.
That's going to be awkward no matter what, right? I mean, it's kind of coming back to the tail between your legs for Colorado. You have Nebraska though, so there's as far as the Big Ten's concerned, you have that Nebraska rivalry. I'm at a loss for it. I'll tell you one thing though. Another reason for ASU is everyone always talks about the song girls at USC. ladies, I'm not this misogynistic, but I'm gonna be honest here. The girls at ASU are pretty damn hot, so I don't know. They're 1 and 2 for the prettiest girls in the Pac-12. So that's another reason to get ASU into the Big Ten.
Yeah, but
because they do have
USC number one.
They do have beautiful cheerleaders. I do have to agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
I think.
What do you think of this comment that I got through a super chat, Tim? I know you don't know that much about West Virginia, but this is pretty bold, even for me. I read it before, but I'm going to read it again for you. This is from Jeffrey Foster. Great donation. We appreciate it. I predict West Virginia to go 11-1, and on top of that, in a 3-way tie in the Big 12. West Virginia beats Baylor. Baylor beats Oklahoma State, and Oklahoma State beats West Virginia. If that happens, who goes to the Big 12 championship? Of course, we already explained that it's the highest ranked. But what do you think about that bold prediction? I mean, that's bold for me. I think West Virginia is looking at a 9-3, and then if JT Daniels can stay healthy, maybe a 10-win season. Yeah,
I think to cover the over on the wins is a no-brainer. Anyone's not doing that, I think, is crazy. Is way too low, right? But what was it set at? What, 5.5 or something? What was it set at?
I think it was 6.
6. So I mean, that's an easy one. As far as that prediction, that's pretty close to Joey. Is that Joey Foster's brother? I mean, is that Joey's alias? That's pretty close to his name. I don't know.
Right?
Joey.
I was like, dang, Joey.
No, I don't.
The only way I see that happening is if JT stays healthy and these young boys that's in the secondary and stuff like that step up and play their game.
Yeah.
If they go out and they play their game to the potential that I know that they can do, we will be 11-1 or 12-0.
Yeah. Well, it's also we need to make I think Graham Harrell's got to take that next step.
Yeah.
If Graham Harrell, here's the thing. I do have faith in Graham Harrell, but he showed the USC offense showed a lot of okay, first of all, like I told you before, there's a lot of dysfunction at USC, so take that right off the top. But there were times where the offense would grow stagnant, especially if one worrying sign was when Drake London went down, he pretty much almost abandoned the passing game and went straight to just run. Yeah. And I do think that if Graham Harrell takes that next step progression-wise in a healthy system, I think that's going to be the difference. He's not going to be dealing with this weird stuff that's going on at USC. And if JT, like someone said, stays healthy, then I can see – I got to be honest, 11 seems pretty high. I'd have to look at your guys' schedule. But I think we did it one time. I don't think I got to 11 when I looked at your guys' schedule.
Yeah, I'm like a 9-3 and pushing the 10 wins, maybe something like that.
But
I'm on the 8-4. I'm on the 8-4, possibly 9-3. I'm leaning more towards 8-4 for West Virginia, and just mainly because of the youth factor. We're still a pretty young team. We got a lot of new receivers, and But now, what I pointed out to you one night, Tim, was that when Graham Harrell came into USC, USC's offense was 80th or 82nd the year before, and took them to 27th in 1 year. If he could do that at West Virginia, because our offense was pretty bad last year, if he can get us up to a top 25 offense, our defense is pretty good, and we have a good shot of a 9 or 10 win season.
Yeah, and I don't want to rain your parade, Joey, but here's what I think I explained this to you the other day as well. So what you had at USC is they were trying to hang on to T. Martin, who was a lights out recruiter, but he is not an offensive. So in order to keep him as on the staff, he was getting job offers around. They gave him the offensive coordinator position. The dude was not qualified. First time offensive coordinator. The year before, he actually did really well. But the problem is that's because he had better players there. Then all of a sudden he's stuck with having a true freshman quarterback in JT Daniels, who basically came out, right. He should have been in high school at Mater Dei, but he came out as a junior and he reclassified. And so I'm not going to blame it all on JT Daniels. It was kind of a combination of both why SC's offense was so terrible. But what happened was the next year is to be honest, he had a freshman quarterback. The same thing with Slovis was a freshman too. So I guess,
you
it's
think
apples
that
to
could
apples.
have contributed to his injury proneness? Maybe he did go at it too early. Even though he was capable of it, maybe his body wasn't quite ready. I mean, I know that's just 1 year, but when you go to, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, that matters.
I think he's older, though. I think he's a lot of parents who have kids play football or basketball, they'll hold them back a year, not because academically they can't handle it, but they want their bodies to be a little bit older so they're going to maybe show out a little better in high school. I mean, that's pretty standard practice here in California. I don't know if it's done all over the place, but it's done here definitely. And so that might be it. So I think it wasn't like he wasn't 17 out there. He was 18.
Okay.
So, but I think really, and the thing with JT, he's getting this thing where he's injury prone. If anybody, I mean, don't do it right before you eat. Definitely don't do it while you're eating. Watch that sack he takes. I don't care who you are. I don't care. The Incredible Hulk is going to tear ligaments in his knee when the entire Fresno State defensive line gets a free run at you.
It was bad.
It was bad. His knee went. When I saw his knee, I'm like, oh shit, right there. You can almost hear the pop.
Hey, so Joey, me and you might have to go to the TCU game because of this super chat right here. Connor Dansport, thank you for the $1.99 donation. He says, I'll be at WVU when the Frogs play there. I know I put some words in there. I'll buy us beer. I can't drink beer because of my ulcer surgery, but you can buy me a Pepsi. We might have to make I know I'm going to the Backyard Brawl for sure, and I know that I'm going to the Baylor game for sure and the Oklahoma game. Might have to buy some tickets to the TCU and hang out with Connor. What do you think?
Yeah. He can buy me a beer, that's for sure.
There you go. You can buy Joey a beer. You can buy me a Pepsi. That'll work.
The only reason why I'm saying that West Virginia goes 11-2, they'll win more of the close games because I trust the leadership of JT Daniels. They're going to use, so the 50-50 games and the 50-50 balls, West Virginia is going to win more because we are longer.
Yeah, well, look at last year's. West Virginia went 6-6, right? 4 of those games were 50-50 losses. And the stat that goes along with Graham Harrell is whenever he goes to a new school, that school immediately jumps 8 to 10 points per game as far as averaging points per game. If you applied that to last year's team, West Virginia does go 11-1. The only team that we don't beat would be Baylor. So I'm buying it, and that's the one thing that people overlook as far as West Virginia from 2021 is we weren't as bad as what you would think because we went 6-6. We had a lot of close losses because our offense was stagnant. If that gets solved this year, West Virginia will be dangerous because each and every year that Neil Brown has been at West Virginia, we've had a really good defense. In 2020, we had an elite defense. Last year, we lost the number 1 safety in the nation in Tyke Smith, and we were still an above-average defense. Not elite, but good enough to keep us in games that we had no business being in. What about this scenario right here? I didn't know this. Thank you, Vanity Rose, for the $5 donation. Says, Back in the day, Tech, Texas, and Oklahoma had the same record. The conference breaker went to who beat the number 2 team by the most.
Wow. That blows my mind.
What year was that? I'm interested to know when that happened because I've never heard anything like that. Seriously. That's insane.
But,
did that? So
but another reason another reason I'm defending my 11-1 prediction also is the bitter taste that the guys had in their mouth when they left Minnesota.
Yeah, that's true. And, well, whenever we got matched up with Minnesota in the bowl game, because I was hoping we would get matched up with like an NC State or something like that. But when I saw Minnesota, my pregame, I flat out said, guys, we're not winning this game. I did not like the matchup. It was a bad matchup for West Virginia. It was basically the same matchup that we had against Oklahoma State, and you saw what happened against Oklahoma State. Really good defense, a little bit better than ours. And, of course, our offense can't score. But on top of that, the cherry on top of that prediction was Minnesota was top 10 as far as field position. West Virginia was like bottom 20. So I knew just from that stat right there that it was going to be a long game. And, the final score, 18-6, y'all didn't get blown out. That's only 12 points. No, watch the game. That was a blowout. We had no shot of winning it. We could not move the ball at all. And we always ended up starting like on our own 10, 15-yard line because the stat held true. Minnesota kept flipping the field, great with field position. We were stuck with horrible field position, which is great. That is a great skill that Minnesota had. It was a terrible matchup.
And also, Dykes with the happy feet couldn't stay in the pocket because he was getting bum rushed.
Well, I mean, that was all year. Dykes had that issue all year. I'm just saying, like,
but I'm saying at the bowl too, because that's the reason why a lot of his throws was off.
Yeah,
because he couldn't get set in the pocket.
I don't know what happened to him because he finished 2020 with confidence, and then last year it looked like he had no confidence. I think maybe it was that first loss that because West Virginia was actually favored against Maryland, and we get upset on the road against Maryland, and we had a chance to win that game there at the end, but we couldn't. And I think his confidence took a big hit after that game, and he was never the same. Very inconsistent.
I agree with that.
And I don't think the same thing happens this year because one thing about JT Daniels is his confidence level is ridiculously high.
Through the roof.
Ridiculous. Through the roof. Dude's a leader, and he's actually better. Think about this. He's actually better at throwing the ball downfield than he is those underneath routes. Better.
I know that. Yeah, I've seen that.
We haven't had that in a very, very long time.
Yeah, if you have that guy that could take the lid off the defense, then it's going to open everything else up underneath. But you guys got to have a burner.
Baby. Sam James. Sam James ain't no secondary to be able to stay with him. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Sam James is your burner. Bryce Ford Wheaton is your hands guy. And then Caden Prather is your guy that can go up and get anything. So he has a great combo. I'm actually thinking that Caden Prather is going to have Caden Prather, I always mispronounce.
Going to have a breakout season. I agree.
Breakout season, over 1,000 yards receiving. I'm calling it. That's my hot take right now. I haven't said it before. Hot take.
And don't forget about Preston Fox. The dude can catch.
Yeah, that dude.
I'm anxious about that.
Not only can he catch, but that dude has heart. Even in just a simple spring game, he laid out for catches. It's been a while since we've had a receiver that would flat out lay out for catches. We need a guy like that that's going to put his body on the line and lay out for a catch.
Well, look at that last catch that Caden Prather got where he laid out on the sideline.
Yep.
That was an amazing friggin' catch. I don't care what anyone says. That right there should have been a highlight for a no-getter,
Oh, yeah, definitely. Somebody got mossed on that one for sure. That's what I see about that. I'm confident about our wide receiving core. JT Daniels, great quarterback. Defense is going to hold up. So I guess the biggest question is how is our running game going to look? And with all 5 of our offensive linemen coming back, I think it's going to be all right. I don't think it's going to be elite or anything, but I think it'll be there when we need it. I don't think we're going to have like a rusher that averages 100 yards a game, But, we'll get 60 to 80 consistently, and then we'll have those games where we can put up, 100 yards rushing or more.
I don't know. Dixon has showed some flashes of great running ability.
Dixon's not on the team anymore. He got booted again. He had locker room issues again. He actually stopped competing because he got buried on the depth chart and then basically quit the team and went in the transfer portal. So the same issues that he was having at Clemson, he had at West Virginia. But the dude was fast, had ticket to the house capabilities on any gift to him. But he didn't. He lost his drive somewhere. He lost his fire somewhere. I don't know what happened to him, but he lost his fire.
Well, watch out for our new running back coming in this season too, because he's I think he's good as Dixon.
Oh, I remember this year. Okay. Vanity Rose, thank you for the $5 donation. Thank you. Yes. Okay. I remember this. 2008 is when that happened. Yes. It's when Texas Tech beat like number 2 or number 1 Texas at home. He says 2008 is when it happened. Tech had
Graham Harrell,
wide receiver. Guess who the quarterback was? GBD. You think he's the key to your offense this year? Yeah.
Graham Harrell.
Graham Harrell. Yeah, he is.
That was a great drive. That was a great drive, man.
See, that's why he's so good with quarterbacks. Is he was a pretty good quarterback in college, and he knows how to speak the lingo, and he knows how to get the confidence level up. I mean, JT Daniels doesn't have any issues with confidence, but with Graham Harrell, I mean, it's going to be double that.
And I know all of y'all noticed this. A lot of the games that we lost, our team come out flat looking. So I look for Graham Harrell to change that mindset. I look for him to make it.
Because that was horrible.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Foster, thank you for the $4.99 donation. Says, just wanted to give you a little background on over-the-road truck driver. Gotcha. See, I wasn't an over-the-road truck driver, but I did drive a truck for was it American? Yeah, American Bottling Company and Carolina Bottling Company. So salute to all the road truck drivers, over-the-road truck drivers. He goes on to say, and I appreciate all your videos. Pitt sucks. I concur. Let's go Mountaineers. That is a great super chat right there. All-time great right there. Agree with all of that. Shout out to all the over-the-road truck drivers. That is, that without those people, America couldn't function. That's what gets us what we need. Seriously, y'all need to thank our over-the-road truck drivers. They do a lot for this nation. But yeah, I think West Virginia's going to have a great season. But what about conference realignment? How's this going to shake out? Who's that fourth team? A lot of, well, I said hints in my video that I made, but really there was no hints. He covered all the 4 corners, which is Utah, Colorado, and Arizona.
I think it's Cal.
And you think it's Cal. And the first video that I made, I thought it was Cal until I went back and watched his press conference when he said that. And that would actually eliminate Cal unless, here's another curveball, instead of Stanford, it's Cal. And then, not Kyle, Cal, and then one of the 4 corner states. And Stanford goes independent. That's possible too.
That's what I say.
The only reason I say it's Cal because Stanford ain't going nowhere without Cal.
Well, are we assuming that
Stanford could go independent? Stanford.
Are we assuming Notre Dame's out? I'm kind of confused on all of it.
Yeah, well, the reason I'm rolling Notre Dame out is because they've come out and said that they want to stay independent if they can hit that $75 million a year payout. And I'm thinking they're going to find a way to find that $75 million a year. I mean, they're Notre Dame. Is it possible that Notre Dame goes to the Big Ten? Absolutely. But we all Notre Dame. They love that independence. Why? Notre Dame fans, if you're in the chat, please explain that. Why do you love that independence so much? What makes that? I mean, other than you're Notre Dame and you're the best independent, whatever. But that's it. There's nothing else.
Not to dance like a chicken.
I mean, you don't get to claim a conference championship, nothing like that.
You get to pick your schedule. You literally get to pick your schedule. And not just that. Again, what people don't realize is the jump from 8 to 9 games in a conference schedule is huge. And here's why. That means you're playing a 9-team. You're basically playing in most leagues. There's some leagues that decide to give a bye and throwing a directional school somewhere in week 9 or 10. But in most leagues, you're playing 9 straight conference games to finish up the year. And when you get to pick not only the teams you're playing, but the order in which you're going to play, you get to set your schedule. That is a huge advantage. If you're in a league, you don't get to pick your bye. You don't get to pick, back-to-back games against, Notre Dame and UCLA back-to-back, or, Utah and Washington back-to-back on the road. I mean, these are the kind of things that happen when you're in a league. Whereas if you're Notre Dame, you get to cherry pick. You get 7 home games every single year, right? You get to pick your home games, 2 or 3 neutral sites, and then maybe 3 true road games. Now, I'm not going to, it's been proven.
I have to hand it.
And I didn't even why didn't I know that? Because that makes perfect sense. Now I understand it. Jeez.
They get to pick their own schedule, but they don't pick cupcakes. I mean, they really don't. It's not like they're playing Kansas, Vanderbilt, Wake Forest.
I mean, that's true, but still, I mean, if you look at their schedule compared to other schedule, they set themselves up for success. They really
Joey, they used to play Michigan and Michigan State every year.
And I would say Navy is a cupcake, though.
And now, Navy is a cupcake. I used to love it, actually. When they played Navy before they played us, I loved it. It was like a meat tenderizer. Yeah, they were going to come. They're going to have some linemen that would be out or dinged up every time. So it was always good when they play that triple op. They're playing that option run game. I loved it because that meant they're going to come in limping a bit to that SC game. So that was actually helpful. But I mean, they were never going to lose.
We got you, Jeffrey Foster. He said, meant to say I'm an over the road truck driver. That's basically what I got out of your donation. Vanity Rose, thank you for the $2 donation. Says Boise is oh no another possibility for us to think about. Boise is in the Mountain Time Zone. What a twist. Pac-12, maybe. Big Ten, it's not going to happen. Boise State's only chance of getting into a Power 5 conference. Well, I'm going to say Power 4 because the Pac-12 is going to be flushed. It is the Big 12. It's going to be Big 12 or bust for Boise State. That's just – I like the twist. Don't get me wrong. I love twists, and I love thinking about it and trying to figure it out. But in this situation, there is a 0% chance of Boise State going to the Big Ten. 0. Firm on that.
No, 0%. Their academics is nowhere near their
everything. Their everything is.
Yeah.
Revenue – everything, even play these days, they're not really winning.
Fan base size, play on the field, brand size, academics, you name it. And that's not us smashing Boise State. That's just pointing out the difference, the gap between Boise State and the Big Ten. And honestly, that points out the gap between the Big 12 and the Big Ten too.
And that's coming from the commissioner as well.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to overtalk.
No, you're good. Sometimes there's a delay anyways. But they're in the Mountain West. Their best shot of getting into a power conference was either the Pac-12 or the Big 12. The Pac-12 is going to be flush, so it's down to the Big 12. And if the Big 12 picks off from the Pac-12, then Boise State is screwed. They picked the wrong time to invest money into their brand and I guess expand. You're only going from 36-something to 40,000, adding like 4,000 seats. But, that's expansion. Yeah. Meeting the minimum of the Big 12. Y'all should have been Boise State.
It should have been 5 years ago.
In the early 2000s to start shoveling in money to their brand back then. That's when y'all should have at least started doing that. Not now.
Yeah, 5 years ago. 5 years ago when they were on top.
Yeah, that was bad. And I think Boise State could have made it if they would have done it at the right time. Not the Pac-12. But the Big 12, especially when the Big 12 lost those 4 teams and brought in TCU and West Virginia, just think if Boise State had the facilities back then to go along with their brand,
beat out TCU.
They could have beaten out TCU. Thank you very much. Absolutely. Yes. Although the big pushback on that is TCU is in Texas, so that still would have been tight. But the point is they would have had a chance. Or maybe the brand was so strong that the Big 12 was confident in Boise State and then look for a partner to go with them. Maybe an up-and-coming UCF or an up-and-coming Cincinnati at the time. I don't know. But the point is they missed the boat. They did not invest in their facilities when they needed to.
But the main reason I come on to speak, was because I'm getting a lot of pushback of West Virginia going into the SEC. I'm getting tons of it because they say that SEC don't want West Virginia. they say that none of the fan bases want West Virginia in there. And then they're like, well, West Virginia will just get beat. And I'm like, well, you got to give us 5 years because we've been down and not been able to have any good money coming in for our program. You give us 4 or 5 years and we'll compete within the top 5 of that conference. I don't care who says what. I believe that.
Here's the misconception with West Virginia. Number one, the fan bases cannot want West Virginia in all they want. They have no vote. Bottom line is the SEC did want West Virginia back in the first go around. It came down to Texas A&M and either Missouri or West Virginia. 2 days before the invite was supposed to be sent to West Virginia, it was written out. The contract, the invite, it was written out. And it was about to be sent to West Virginia, but then ESPN contacted the SEC and said, hey, no, send that to Missouri because we want that Kansas City TV market. So number one, the SEC has already wanted West Virginia. Number two, they still want West Virginia because they're on their they're on the second 4 in, not the first 4. They want to raid the ACC first. But I'll go on to say this: if they can't figure out how to break the grant of rights and get those 4 teams first, West Virginia will get bumped into the first 4 along with Oklahoma State. Y'all are going to have to get over yourselves. Stop looking at West Virginia as little old West Virginia just because we only have 1.8 million in population in the state. It goes beyond that. We are the number 13 fan base in the nation when it comes to percentage of fan base that lives outside the state. Look, I openly admit that we have a terrible, terrible economy in the state of West Virginia. Even myself, Golden Blue Dude, I do not live in the state of West Virginia because the economy is horrible. So most of our fan base moves outside of the state of West Virginia. You cannot judge the size of our fan base, the quality of our fan base, the TV market based on the population of the state of West Virginia. You have got to get over that stereotype. West Virginia does bring value. And if you shovel SEC money into West Virginia will be competitive within 3 to 4 years in the SEC. I mean, the same thing was said about Missouri, and they ruled the SEC East like from the get-go. Now, they've fallen on hard times, but the point is they were competitive immediately. I wouldn't say that about West Virginia. Point is, if Missouri can do it, West Virginia can do it. West Virginia has a better brand of football than Missouri. Facts.
And I
Jeffrey
believe,
Foster, hold on. Jeffrey Foster, thank you for the $4.99 donation. Says the reason why the SEC does not want West Virginia is because they are scared. LOL. Yeah. Well, they're not scared, but the fan bases just don't want us in there because they look down on us. Sorry, guys. I get aggravated about that. I
kind of agree with that because if West Virginia gets in there and gets the kind of money that the rest of them gets and gets that SEC patch on there, what kid is going to refuse West Virginia?
Well, think about this. The scary thought of West Virginia showing you up. They don't want that. Not at all.
No.
And I know it's been like over a decade, almost 2 decades now. The last time West Virginia played Georgia and they were both, almost elite, right there, not national championship, but New Year's Six Bowl, West Virginia did in fact beat Georgia. And over the past 15 years, West Virginia has an 8-6 record against the SEC. Those are real facts, people. We would not be like the garbage of West Virginia would be the new Vanderbilt. Look, I can buy, we would struggle in the first couple years, might not make a bowl, stuff like that. But saying that West Virginia would be the new Vanderbilt, that is flat out laughable. If you say that and believe it, then you don't freaking know football. I'm sorry. You should not be watching college football if you can make that statement with a straight face and believe it.
Agreed.
I want to get back to this talk about the conference realignment for a second because I haven't got to get some of my points out. So I think Notre Dame, we know Notre Dame's going to stay independent. We're 99% sure of that. I think Stanford's going to join them in the independent. I think because Notre Dame wants that $75 million, I believe that Stanford coming independent with them will help Notre Dame get to that $75 million because they'll probably tie the TV contracts together somehow. And I think that I think that then the Big Ten will just go after Oregon and Washington, of course, and then they'll take a Cal and either a Utah or a Colorado. But I think most likely a Utah. I don't see Colorado in the Big Ten, but I could be completely wrong on that. I mean, we all could be wrong about everything here.
Yeah,
but
that is
it's great to speculate. It's great to speculate. It's great, and I think that Arizona is a shoe-in the Big 12, just if nothing else because of their basketball. I think they fit perfect in the Big 12 with basketball. Their streamline though is California. Their student line is right there in Southern California. They come in, they go to college here, they go back to California to work. So they're in line with California, so they can still get their recruits out of California and play in the Big 12. But so I think that Arizona State. I don't know about both of them, but Arizona's a pretty easy shoe in Big 12. One thing I do know, I think that when the new Big 12 commissioner takes over August the 1st, I think there will be an announcement. I'm almost
yes, there will be. Yep.
No doubt about it. There will be an announcement. And we'll know then who's coming to the Big 12, and then we'll know if the Pac-12 is going to survive at that moment.
Yeah, well, the bottom line is I don't think Pac-12 surviving. It's just figuring out who's going to go where. That's what we're waiting on. Fester, I remember Fester was the one that donated $100 the other day, and he's going to be at the Backyard Brawl. Fester, I am going to be wearing my Golden Bluetooth gear at the Backyard Brawl. So if you see that, man, come and talk to me. I promise you I won't bite. I won't. I'm not like that. I'm a cool guy. I'm laid back. So come see me. Look for Golden Bluetooth gear. I will be at the Backyard Brawl. But kind of agreeing with what I said earlier about West Virginia's economy, says economy is the reason why I moved on the border of West Virginia in Ohio. Yeah, I mean, that's how drastic it is. You don't have to move 2 states away for the economy to be automatically better. You can just go to a bordering state, be close to your home state, and you're in a better living situation just because of how much better the economy is in that state over the state of West Virginia. And I hate saying that because West Virginia is my home state, and I'm not trying to trash talk about it, but the economy flat out sucks up there. It does.
Yep, it does. And Charleston getting the regatta back is going to help with all that too.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that the other day. Good point out on that. David Z, thank you for the $5 donation, says, we have an Iowa State comment. Iowa State, one of 2 schools in the nation with top 25 attendance in 5 sports. Yes, that is 100% correct, actually, and I have the stats on that. It might have been you or somebody else that sent me a screenshot on that. I'm not sure. Number 2 in women's basketball, number 3 in wrestling, although it didn't have the wrestling stat. Number 15 in volleyball, number 23 in football, and number 23 in men's basketball. The stat sheet that I had only had women's basketball, football, and men's basketball. Iowa State supports the heck out of their athletics for sure. That is a fact. And it's a shame that they can't put a quality program together whenever it comes to football. Matt Campbell has done wonders at Iowa State, but before Matt Campbell was at Iowa State, they were trash, absolutely trash, and he had a down year last year, so maybe they're coming back to the median. I don't know, but it doesn't make sense because they have a fantastic football stadium. They have rabid fans. It is tough to win in Ames, Iowa. What is the problem at Iowa State? Why can they not put out an elite football team? Not even consistently, like ever.
Because they're far away from everything. They're far away.
Fester, I see your super chat there that you'll be at every home game. I'll be there too. Email me, Joey at goldenbluedude.com. It's just JOEY at goldenbluedude.com. Email me and we'll find out where each other's sitting at, and we'll meet up at some games.
I'm going to be looking for a guy that looks like that picture, by the way. You better look like that.
I've noticed all through college, the teams that are far away from airport and easy travel is the ones that don't get many high-ranking recruits.
Well, and that's why I brought up Iowa State, because they're comparable with West Virginia, and West Virginia's had much more success than Iowa State. That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why has West Virginia been able to have a lot of success? I mean, if you don't know West Virginia football, you're like, this Golden Bluetooth guy is crazy. He's just a nut. acting like West Virginia's, some great. Look up the stats. Okay, top 25 overall in football winning percentage and total wins. Yes, pretty good football program. Iowa State, not so much. And I'm not trying to dog on them. I'm just trying to figure out. We're in the same type of situation. We recruit similarly. Location about the same. They're out in the middle of nowhere on the prairie. We're out in the middle of nowhere in the mountains. So why can West Virginia get it done at least every once in a while, but Iowa State can't?
And
riddle me that.
The culture of West Virginia.
There you go. That's the answer right there. Iowa State has not figured out how to build a winning culture, which is a shame, a big shame, because Iowa State fans are very, very loyal.
Passionate.
They pack it out.
Passionate.
They just expanded that stadium in Ames, Iowa. It looks great. It gets loud. It's tough to win there. But for whatever reason, they can't put out a consistent winning program. They can't even put out an every once in a while great program. You know what I mean? Like West Virginia has that special season once every, 10, 15, whatever years. Iowa State doesn't even have that. They don't even have that. When they go 8-4, that's like, oh, man, we had one of our best seasons of all time. I'm like, man, I feel bad for y'all. Like,
yeah, really.
that shouldn't be your reaction when you go 8-4. I mean, 8-4 is better than what we did last year, 6-6. But Neil Brown's going to get run off on a rail if he goes 6-6 this year. 8-4 is just to keep his job.
It's all boils down to locking them elite football players. It's all about the 4-star and the 3-stars that they can get to come there. You know, that's what it's all about.
Fester says, and Fester, you support the show like no other. We appreciate it. $20 donation says, add a goatee. So we were talking about the picture. So let's add a goatee, and I might look. Can't even finish the sentence. And I might look something like that in that picture. Don't let me down. That would be awesome, to be honest with you. LOL. I'll be chilling in section 128. We were in 228 for West Virginia, Virginia Tech last year. We were in the upper deck. So 128 bottom deck. I will be looking for you because I know for sure we will be at the Baylor game and the Oklahoma game. Maybe we'll get tickets to more games if West Virginia is as good as what I think they'll be. But I'll meet you at least twice in Morgantown. We'll you can buy me a Pepsi and buy Joey a beer. And Joey, don't get hammered, man. I don't want you to make a fool of yourself, right, buddy?
Here's something interesting. Here's something interesting I was thinking about too. West Virginia should get with like Under Armour and try and get a deal with them on the new uniforms and have like the coal out uniforms, have the blue for home or away and gold writing for home.
Yeah, I like that. What do you think about the new uniforms for the Backyard Brawl? Oh my gosh,
Best I've ever seen.
I made a video on those uniforms and I botched it because I didn't look up what those lines represented and it looked like lightning to me. So in the video, I described it as lightning. That's supposed to represent the country roads of West Virginia, like the actual roads on a map that you would see on a map. But like an idiot, I didn't do my research. I just looked, oh, that's cool. That looks like lightning. And then I made a video about it, made myself look stupid, absolutely stupid. And I had a bunch of people, I mean, they let me have it. You call yourself a West Virginia fan? That's not lightning, man. That's country road, blah, blah. I was like, oh, my gosh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I should have looked into it. I should have known better, but I didn't. I make mistakes. It happens. Jeez. Jeffrey Foster, thank you for the $4.99 donation. Says, I'll be at the Baylor game. Me too, buddy. Section 126, I think row 3. Hey, we have a bunch of people that's going to be at that game now. So we have Fester, we have Jeffrey Foster, Joey's going to be there, I'm going to be there. We're going to have our own Going to Blue section. I'm telling you, our own Going to Blue section. And if West Virginia is as good as we think they might be, maybe a game day will show up and not just one person will be wearing Going to Blue gear, but like an entire section. Imagine that. That would be awesome. That would be
awesome. I would like to see that.
Get my excitement
I'll
up.
Also add that
if things goes the way I think it is. Sorry, Joey. I'm so sorry, Joey. If things goes the way I'm thinking it's going to go, I look for college game day to go to the Baylor and West Virginia game too.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
I would
possible.
agree with that.
But
My brother says we're
Mark,
going to have a
Mark
10.
Rogers.
That's what I'm talking about.
Mark Rogers may go with us. Mark Rogers may go with us to the Baylor game as well.
Let's go.
I've talked to him.
Let's freaking
talked to
go.
him.
Hey, we will be game day. Game day is going to be like, man, why are they getting more views than us, man? They're showing us up. Like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
Hey, can we?
Yeah,
Can,
just
hey,
imagine.
go to Blue. Can you interview us? Can we be on your show? That's what it's going to be like.
It'll be a lot of fun. Baylor's going to be an exciting
Man,
game.
I'm jacked up. I don't know if y'all can tell, man, but I'm jacked up. I'm
I can't-
super excited about this.
I can't wait for the backyard brawl. I can't wait for all the Pitt fans to see West Virginia just walk over them.
Yeah, I mean, we're already on a 3-game winning streak. We're just going to make it 4. I mean, it's just, if this, the crazy thing is, if this would have happened last year, Pitt would have beat the brakes off of us. I'm just going to say it. We would have lost by at least 20. Seriously.
Yep.
They had a
Yep.
great offense. Their defense was a little bit better than our offense. It would have been the same matchup as going up against Oklahoma State and Minnesota, and we saw how that went. It was bad. We got humiliated. I'm glad we didn't have to play Pitt last year. It would have been bad, real bad, guys.
I'm thinking,
Really, really
Yeah.
I'm thinking the
See,
Baylor.
the-
I'm thinking the Baylor game's the Fox primetime game, though, isn't it? I'm thinking the Baylor game is the
Oh,
Fox
yeah.
primetime game.
Definitely. I keep forgetting that Fox is with the Big
Oh.
12. We might not get
Right.
any game day now. Thanks for depressing me, Joey.
Yeah, I was thinking that it was a Fox game.
Man. Yeah, if both teams are as good as we think they are, it's going to be a Fox primetime. Yay, 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 but no game day. I really want game day. That's what I want. But, I don't live that far from Clemson. So if Clemson goes to game day there, I can get us on there. Or Georgia. I'm only about an hour and a half away from there. So we're going to get us on there. It's going to happen. Jeffrey Foster, thank you for the $4.99 donation, says, did you hear that Noel Devine, his son, got offered a scholarship from West Virginia for the 2024 class? I didn't know that. Did you know that, Joey?
Yeah, I did. I read that. I read that
I
yesterday.
didn't know that.
Yes.
I went and watched the video that Ears put out. Ears put out a video of it. They were showing him there at the camp.
So is he like, I know sometimes the kid is better than dad, sometimes not, sometimes the same. What are we looking at here? Comparison.
He's fast, dude. He's fast. He looks good.
All right, so
He
he's
looks
got the
really
speed.
good.
He's got the speed.
Yeah, he's squatting.
small?
He's
Is he small
5'6".
Yep.
He's 5'6". He squats 405 pounds, and he, the throw up where you put the bar up to your chest.
Yep.
He's putting up 275 pounds there.
Talking about a deadlift.
Snatch.
No, his
The
dad was a
snatch
five
lift.
star. His dad was a
Snatch
5-star.
lift. Yeah.
That's the thing about it.
Thank you,
other line was
Fester, for
5-star
becoming a
shot.
member. We appreciate that. Man, Fester overnight. Fester has turned out to be one of our best supporters we've ever had. It happened
Yeah,
overnight.
Fester.
We appreciate that, Fester. You're awesome, man.
Appreciate
Awesome. I can't wait to meet you at the backyard. Well, we're going to meet you at the backyard brawl. We'll meet you at the Baylor game. We'll meet you whatever game you're going to. We're going to try to make it, and we'll just hang out every freaking time. Pepperoni roll is mandatory because you got to realize I live in South Carolina, and I don't get to see them very much at all. Not much at all. So whenever I come up there, gots to have me some pepperoni rolls.
Well, if I ever meet you, I'm bringing you some homemade pepperoni rolls that I'm.
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, Sheetz has pretty good pepperoni rolls, but homemade are the best. David Z, thank you for the $5 donation, says Iowa State / West Virginia last 10 years is 6-4 West Virginia. Iowa State beat Oregon 34-17 in the Fiesta Bowl in 2020. I forgot about that. Yes. Fan support is superior to West Virginia. West Virginia Big Bowl wins recent. Biggest bowl win we've had recently was against Army in the Independence, and that wasn't really that great. I did forget about that Fiesta Bowl, so my bad on that. But my point about Iowa State is overall, you go over any, not just the last 30 years, but any time slot of 20, 30 years, there's never been any type of consistent or even sporadic winning. Now, to your point, 2020, Iowa State did have a great year, and that's why their expectations for 2021 were so high, and it was a massive, massive letdown year for Iowa State last year. And right after the 2020 season, I've told this story before, but I got to say it again since David Z brought that up. Right after the 2020 season, whenever Iowa State won the Fiesta Bowl, I'm a member of a lot of Facebook groups on Facebook. That's how I promote my videos. As long as it's has something to do with that group, like if it's an Iowa State video, then I'll put it in. I'm not going to promote an Iowa State video in like a Oklahoma video unless they're playing each other, or Oklahoma Facebook group. So anyways, one of my videos that I made was about Matt Campbell. That was my cat. Push something off. I see you. Matt Campbell having success at Iowa State. And if he were to continue that, some bigger name is going to come and snatch him up. And I got booted, kicked off that Iowa State Facebook group just for even suggesting that a bigger brand could come along and get Matt Campbell if he keeps succeeding the way he was. Well, you got your wish, because Iowa State had a letdown year last year, so the big names are not looking at him anymore. And if anything, I was giving you a compliment. I was saying he was, achieving at a high level at Iowa State. And Iowa State is just like West Virginia. If you start having a lot of success, you're going to get attention from those bigger brands. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that the person is going to sell out and go to that, although Rich Rod did. But there's a high probability that he's going to be moving on up. In other words, why I got booted for that? Can somebody seriously? Am I overlooking something? Is there an actual reason why I should have got booted for that?
Last year, the all the talk was, again, remember, this isn't, I don't have any, this is just internet, right? Twitter and on the USC football board, but everyone was looking at Matt Campbell. I mean, we were hoping for a guy like Matt Campbell or Luke Fickell, right? We had no idea about Riley at all.
Right.
And I think it's absurd for Iowa State to think that if one of the SEC schools come knocking, or a Big Ten team come knocking, or even a larger Big 12 team comes not, I don't know that, but that he's not going. But the word is that he did not have interest in USC.
Right.
Fickell I just wonder what his options will be. I think that the right fit, he's going to go, because I don't think that Iowa State, Campbell must have higher aspirations than being the coach. I'm not ripping on, sorry, Iowa State fans, I'm not ripping on you at all. I'm just saying you have to have self-awareness. And I wouldn't be offended. Like a high caliber coach, their
dream job is
Notre Dame comes calling. There's very, very few schools. Unless you're like Georgia, or Ohio State, or you're Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Your coach isn't safe. I don't know why people think that it's outside the possibility that their coach would leave at Iowa State. He's done great things at Iowa State. Imagine Iowa State before he got there.
Terrible.
It was like USC colors, but not quite football going on in the fields, what I used to see. So I would always catch my eye.
It's the same example that you could use about Kansas State before Bill Snyder. Historically bad. That's how bad Iowa State was before Matt Campbell. That's how bad Kansas State was before Bill Snyder. They were considered to be the worst football program in the nation, Kansas State. Of course, Bill Snyder turned it around, and his predecessor, Chris Kleiman, he's doing a pretty good job. I think Kansas State's going to be a sleeper this year. So Kansas State is in a much better position just because of one coach. Now, can Matt Campbell do that at Iowa State? I don't know. He had a great season in 2020, but then he also had a letdown season last year in 2021 with a lot of talent. This is the year where if he was going to go 7-6, it would be this year, because he lost a bunch of that starting production. So I'm interested to see what Matt Campbell's going to do at Iowa State this year after losing, Brock Purdy, Breece Hall, some of that defense. I just don't think Iowa State should have had that letdown year. This would have been the year. So Iowa State fans, maybe you get your wish and you get to keep Matt Campbell, but that's not necessarily a good thing. Maybe that means you're on the downtrend.
I should probably ignore it.
And that freshman receiver that West Virginia's getting this year, he kind of reminds me a lot of Jock Sanders, the way he does things.
Which one?
Jalen.
Jalen, yeah. Jalen Williams, yes. Highly touted 4-star. Let me get to this super chat. Fester, man, he's supporting the show like crazy tonight. Appreciate the $10 donation. He says there is a homestyle restaurant in Fairmont, which is where Joey lives, so I can stop by there. West Virginia has awesome pepperoni rolls. I'm telling you, I'm going to eat pepperoni rolls up there, and I'm going to stock up on them, and I'll heat them up in the oven and the microwave if I have to. So yes, that is definitely happening. Everybody in the chat, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, the like button, please do so now. It's easy, simple, fast, and free. It's not a pat on the back for going to Blue Dude. It just helps this video hit the YouTube algorithm, which makes the video get suggested more and more people tap on it, and then boom, bigger video. And I can tell that people have been hitting the like button because the video has grown and grown. So shout out to everybody that's already hit the like button. And if you haven't, we would greatly, greatly appreciate that. One more thing that I wanted to talk about before we get out of here is, we've been talking about conference realignment and who could fill in those last couple spots, because I think we're fairly confident that Washington, Oregon will be going to the Big Ten. Can we at least agree on that? Fairly confident about that? All right, so it's those last 2 spots that are open. So I want to transition into, we already know that USC and UCLA are going to the Big Ten, and of course, Lincoln Riley, new head coach at USC, they have high expectations this year because they will be playing in the Pac-12 this year. UCLA has Chip Kelly. He's been quietly building something over there. They went 8-4 last year, which is respectable. DTR is going to be back at starting quarterback, so I expect UCLA to be decent. But whenever they do make that transition over to the Big Ten, do you think they'll see immediate success? Now, they're not going to be going this. What year are they projected to actually go? Is it 23 or 24?
24. So we're there for 2 more years.
All right, so 2024, right? So that means Lincoln Riley will have 2 seasons under his belt. UCLA will be even further along under Chip Kelly. Do you think either one of these teams, or maybe both of these teams, will be developed enough to where they can head straight into the Big Ten and have immediate success? When I say immediate success, I'm talking at least a 9-10 win season, not necessarily winning the Big Ten or anything like that, but being a competitor, being a factor in the Big Ten title race.
Well, I mean, to win 9 games, you're gonna have to go what? Then you have to go 6-3 in conference.
Right.
So if you tell me we're in the West, I feel more confident. You tell me in the East, I'd probably say probably not for both teams. I mean, getting through Penn State and Ohio State and Michigan State, that's hard. That's hard. That's gonna be hard to do. I think they need to build both lines up. I think that's where it is. I mean, USC has a great starting line this year, but depth-wise is absolutely missing. UCLA was picked just now recently to be finished 4th in the Pac-12. So
this year,
if Riley gets his recruiting going like I think he's going to for the next 2 years, it's a possibility that they can come in there and be relevant first year.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's the X factor in all this. It's not just, transitioning into the Big Ten. I think USC with Lincoln Riley will be recruiting not just, well in the Big Ten, but in the upper echelon of the Big Ten, like recruiting right up there with your Ohio States, your Michigans, the top tier teams. So they're definitely going to have the talent. It's the only thing that I can't put my finger on that could be a factor in this is transitioning to something different. Because no matter what, you could have all the talent in the world. When you're going from this to this, there is going to take some getting used to. I guess that's
culture shock.
Question. Yeah, culture shock. How fast can they adjust to the style that Big Ten plays?
That's a tough one. That right there could set them back a year or 2.
Well, I mean, let's look at who's currently winning the Big Ten. What kind of ball do they play? It is balanced, but when I think of Ohio State, I see a lot of balls going through being thrown through the air. You know what I mean? So it'd be curious to see.
Three teams stand out in that, and that's Ohio State, Michigan, and Michigan State.
How about hold on, time out.
Oh, Penn State.
Time out.
Or Penn State, yeah.
How about my brother, who's in the chat, Golden Blue Bro, taking a shot at me in the comments? Appreciate the $2 donation. Says hope Hope you're better at predictions than softball. So we had a softball game on Saturday of all the local YouTubers. We have a community around here. Uncle Lou was there, Pigskin Pete, Big Dog Brett, just a bunch of YouTubers were there. I was on one team. We were called Team Fulls because the captain was Traveling Fulls. Then the other team was Team Raj because the captain was Team Raj. I was 2 for 3. Thank you very much. I got on base 2 times. Now no balls were hit to me in the outfield because I was in the right field and they were hitting the left. They were pulling everything. I mean, they were pulling everything. Everything was going to left. So I didn't get to show off my fielding skills, but my brother taking shots at me in the comments section, man.
It's just brother intuition. That's all. It's just brother intuition picking.
He knows I might be the smaller one, but he also knows that I'm the athletic one as well. I can ball. I can ball with the best of them.
But to finish that up, I'd like to see Riley recruit not just top 200 level linemen. Right. I want to recruit like the top 100 level linemen on both sides of the ball. And beating Bo or beating Bow or beating whoever the hell that dude, offensive lineman, stayed at Oklahoma. They haven't done much as far as putting recently. He has a great history. No one can touch it. But I mean, last couple of years, those offensive lines haven't looked that good. Riley Witten got the guy Henson from Texas A&M, but in this cycle so far, he's missed out. I mean, part of it might be NIL, maybe also Henson was helped out by NIL at Texas A&M, as we're seeing right now. A lot of bags being thrown. That could be it as well. But right now, USC's striking out when it comes to the top guys. They just got a 4-star interior lineman. I think he's actually a center. But they were in the mix for about 3 or 4 tackles, and they missed out on all of them. Like all of them. It was Connerly for this year's class. It took forever to commit. And then the kid that went to Miami, and then the other kid went to Florida State, I think, Simmons. So, I mean, USC missed out on 3. Whenever USC's been good, we've had a great offensive line. We've had a really good offensive line. And if we don't have a good offensive line, we're going to get smashed in the Big Ten. That's just what it comes down to. How well we do, let me know how good our offensive line is when we go into 2024, and then I'll make my prediction.
You hit the nail on the head. That's literally what I was asking you without asking it, because the style of the Big Ten is to have these bruising offensive linemen and defensive linemen. That's just the style of football that they play. So that, I guess, you basically answered my question, because Lincoln Riley's biggest flaw has been recruiting at the offensive line, not being able to get those top tiers. He's great at getting skill position, especially on offense, but he's got to focus on that offensive line a lot more if he wants USC to be competitive in the Big Ten. Otherwise, they're going to get run over by those massive. I mean, Wisconsin, they always have a massive defensive line out there. Same with Iowa. I mean, the Big Ten is just loaded with these mammoths on those offensive and defensive lines. So if they want to be competitive, then they have got to upgrade on the offensive line and the defensive line as far as recruiting. Vanity Rose, thank you for the $5 donation, says, I'll bet Ohio State is hoping for both Cal and Stanford. A fence around California that's owned by the Big Ten will keep out the SEC for recruiting. Great point. That's a great point right there. That's a really good point, actually. If they were to grab Cal and Stanford, they already have UCLA and USC. Sorry, SEC. No California for you. So this is a great – I don't know if that's going to happen. I think it's a good point.
I think that will happen because that's what they're looking at, and that's the reason they brought out that info.
Yeah, I got called out.
I'm not bought on Cal. Or sold on, excuse me. I'm not sold on Cal. Stanford, yes. Not sure about Cal.
For that reason.
And I did make a video. The first one that I said, they were looking into Oregon, Washington, Stanford, and Cal. But it was what I heard from Kevin Warren when he said, we're going to have a team that represents the Four Corners and the Mountain Time Zone. That's what made me change my mind. So actually, there for a minute, I did think it was going to be Cal and Stanford. And maybe it is. Maybe he was just throwing us a curveball and trying to get us to not think that. I don't know what they're thinking. Like I said earlier in this video, whoever feels that 3rd and 4th spot, they know who they are at this moment. They know. It's us, the YouTubers, the college football fans that are trying to figure out who's going to fill those last 2 spots. But it's not going to be any surprise to the teams that get accepted, and it's not going to be any surprise to the Big Ten whenever it's announced. It's going to be, we're just trying to figure out before it actually happens.
It's just USC it's just SEC and Big Ten playing chess. Who could be strategic the most?
Absolutely.
That's all this is.
All right, guys. Well, I'm about to wrap this up, but I'm going to give everybody their last word. I got to get off here. We have a big birthday party on Saturday, and I got a lot of cleaning to do because we're going to have a lot of company on Saturday and only have one day to do it. So I got to get some rest tonight. But before we get out of here, as usual, I'm going to give everybody their last word. Kenny, I'll let you go first, buddy.
All right. Well, the one thing that I see the most, I see Arizona State. I see not Utah, but Colorado, and possibly whoever's left out, either Cal or Utah, coming to the Big 12. Only reason I say this is to get relevant on the West Coast.
Right.
And to close down certain states.
Yep.
And to get a share at the Rose Bowl.
Honestly, I would rather the Big 12 get Arizona and Arizona State instead of like an Arizona and Colorado. I think that makes more sense. You're closing down a state, and what does Colorado really bring? I'm not sure. But great points, Kenny. Appreciate you coming on. We're going to go live again tomorrow, so make sure to drop by, okay?
All right, I will.
All right, have a good night, buddy. Tim, last word, buddy.
Just want to say hello to my buddy Stubby in the chat. Clearly, he's an Oklahoma fan. I'm not sure if Stubby even knows that. Yes, they did have a great offensive line in 2018, but that was 2018. I'm talking about 2019, 2020, 2021, right? You guys haven't had anybody. You're right. By the way, you didn't have 2 people drafted. You had 1 guy drafted. He was a 260. I had to look it up. I stopped watching the draft in the 7th round. It was 262. I don't even know is that a compensatory pick? Because I thought that's beyond Mr. Irrelevant. I think there was 262 in the draft. Is there?
I'm not sure. You might be right about that.
That's getting up towards the ozone layer, dude. That's beyond. And no offensive lineman drafted in 2021, and no offensive lineman drafted in 2020. So, Stubby, know your team before you come, talking whatever the hell you want to talk. As far as the realignment goes, I think that you beyond Washington and Oregon, which I think are no-brainers for the Big Ten. I think that I would love to see, without a doubt, I would love to see Utah included in that. I'm assuming no Notre Dame. I'd love to see Utah and Stanford. Does that all work out? I'm thinking the way that the California regions are giving UCLA a hard time, talking about how they're going to have to pay some of their funds to support the entire athletic departments of the UC system, not just Cal, but all of them. If they go to the Big Ten in some kind of way, which will totally drain them. I'm thinking maybe if they drag Cal with them, then they might get out of that situation. Again, all this is all speculation, but the winners would be if we got Oregon and Washington, Notre Dame and Stanford. But likelihood of that happening is like pulling that, drawing that straight flush. So, I mean, I think that's probably not going to happen. I think Utah just got picked again after winning the Pac-12 2 years in a row. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now they're picked to win it again this year, and like a landslide. I mean, I think USC got 5 first place picks, and Oregon got 3.
Kyle Whittingham is a great coach. They got a great.
He is, but then again, now we're starting to talk about the same thing. We're still kind of talking about the same thing. We're talking about Iowa State. You know, is it the coach or is it the program?
I think it's the coach because Utah. I mean, think about it. Utah's only been a Power 5 team for a little while. They haven't, they haven't been like historic blue blood or anything like that. They have a great fan base, just like Iowa State and West Virginia, but they haven't had that coach. I mean, you had what was his name, Urban Meyer. Yeah, Urban Meyer was at Utah. He had some success, but besides those two, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they have history that I don't know about, but recent history. I think their brand is at an all-time high is what I think. And Kyle Whittingham is a big part of that.
Yeah,
they're not a USC, a blue blood or anything like that.
Well, they had a guy named Urban Meyer too, did pretty good at Utah back in the day. But yeah, I wonder if they can, again, as far as fan base, I can tell you this. I'm going to that game in Salt Lake City. I can't wait to go see the Muss. I can't wait to go see their stadium. The fans are awesome at Utah. So I can't wait to do that.
Take
One
some
more thing for you,
Texas
Stubby.
man.
One thing for you, Stubby. USC just recently had back-to-back first-round draft picks tackles. So again, I don't know. You don't want to go down this conversation. I'm not sure what you want to do with it, but I'm sure USC will eventually get some good linemen. And I know Henson's a good offensive line coach. On that, I'll see you later.
Well done, Tim. Well done.
See you later,
As y'all
Tim.
can tell, no love lost between Oklahoma fans and Utah fans. Catch everybody up on what's going on at Golden Blue Dude.
Okay, so we do have our if you go to Spotify, Apple, or TuneIn Radio or Substack, we do have our podcast. Those are all of our live episodes that appear here on YouTube. If you happen to miss one, you can go over to one of those formats and listen to it while you're just riding down the road or whatever, or you can re-listen to one of these shows. This episode here, it takes me about 2 to 3 hours to get an episode uploaded there. So I'll get this one uploaded. It'll be on there probably about 12:30 or 1 tonight. So listen to it on your way to work in the morning again. Also, don't forget, in August, the whole month of August, we've got some prizes have been donated by Traveling Fools, and a big shout out to Traveling Fools. If you haven't subbed him up yet, be sure and go do that. He's got an awesome channel, awesome show. He's going to have a big show this Saturday night. We're going to have Golden Blue Dude and quite a few other people on there talking college football at 9 o'clock on Traveling Fools channel. So that's a good thing. But other than that, he's got some prizes he's donated to our channel, and we're going to be giving away them in the month of August. Anybody that does a super chat or buys some merchandise at our store. So you can go to anything on goldenbluedude.com and find about anything you want about Golden Blue Dude and everything we have going on. You can access everything. And I guess at that, I'll let you close this show out, man. We'll see y'all later.
Well done, Joey. Appreciate it, buddy. Yeah, we have a lot going on here at Golden Blue Dude. John Waffle H2P, thank you for the $1.99 donation. Says, did you see my video? I have not, but as soon as I'm done with this live show, I will go check it out. Guys, if you're a college football fan, hit the subscribe button. If you're not, don't. You won't like this channel if you're not a college football fan. But if you are, I promise you, you will. We're on our march to 10,000 subscribers by the kickoff of the Backyard Brawl, which is September 1st. And at last count, I'm looking at it right now, we are at 9,408 subscribers. So we are 592 subscribers away from 10,000. I know we're going to get there, but we can't do it without people like you hitting that subscribe button. So we greatly appreciate it. Our march to 10,000. Me and Joey are thinking this could be a perfect storm because we're going to do a live show from the Backyard Brawl, and we could hit the 10,000 mark, right around the same time. Although we're blasting it right now, it might happen sooner. We'll do a celebration either way. It's going to be a big, big celebration. 10,000 subscribers. It's a big deal. We're getting there much faster than what I thought we would, and that's appreciation out to you guys. You guys have done this. You guys have supported Golden Blue Dude. Shout out to everybody in the comments section. Appreciate you. Everybody that's hit the like button, appreciate you. Everybody that hit the super chat for supporting Golden Blue Dude, we appreciate 100% what you're doing for us. On the way out, even though this is not going to be live and people are going to be rewatching it, hit the like button on the way out if you haven't. It still helps the video, and it helps it get suggested more. That live show that we did on, Tuesday has over 4,000 watches on it. For a live show, or 4,000 views, excuse me, that's great for a live show. It might have over 5,000 now, and that's because you guys hitting the like button on the way out gets it suggested more. So don't forget to do that. Tomorrow we'll do another live show. Don't know when. That's why it's important to hit the notification. Hit that bell, ring that bell. That way you know when we go live. But for now, we're done, guys. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.